Well, hello there to all my followers of darkness, shadow scavengers, and villainy aficionados. Welcome, bienvenue. Here I am, a good old Lord of Shadows, and this, my friends, is none other than my good old-fashioned shadow reviews. And this time we have a big one. It is time for Peacemaker Season 2. Yep, here I am, guys, sharing with you my overall thoughts and opinions, what I thought about Peacemaker Season 2 in general. Now, before I go into the overall main details, I just want to give you like a quick overall plot/summary about like Peacemaker season 2. So basically in season 2, Peacemaker discovers this like alternate world, aka Earth 2, through his quantum room, and basically inside this Earth 2 is basically a life that he always wanted throughout his entire life. But in doing so, he had to also face his traumatizing past one more time, alongside holding the entire future in his hands, basically. That's kind of like in a more poetic way. Now, in short, basically simple terms, the plot is basically on one side you have Peacemaker discovering Earth 2, and the other side you have Rick Flag Sr. alongside Argus trying to capture Peacemaker's ass. And that's basically the overall plot of Peacemaker season 2 in short, basically. So you can choose whichever one you like, the short version or the poetic version. It's all up to you guys. Anyway, so the first thing I just wanted to explore a little bit. I just have to start with John Cena. Okay, throughout many different projects, not just simply the Suicide Squad or Peacemaker, but also throughout different projects like Bumblebee, Vacation Friends, Heads of State, and many different others. John Cena really proved himself to be a really talented actor. Okay. But I personally think that in season 2 of Peacemaker, I think this is the project where he really shines. Season 2 for me brought us basically the greatest so far John Cena performance I have ever seen. Like in season 2, he really proved himself to be a natural born actor. Now I know for some people those might be strong words, but for me personally, that's how I see it. This season really proved that John Cena is a natural born actor, and through serious moments, emotional moments, comedic moments. If it's like relationships with Emilia Harcourt or the rest of the 11th Street Kids, or when he's confronting Rick Flag Sr., or his relationship with alternate versions of his father and his brother, like every single moment throughout all 8 episodes, John Cena really proved himself to be a phenomenal actor, and if I had to pick one specific scene where I thought he delivered like the greatest performance ever, it would definitely have to be when all the 11th Street Kids were attacking the alternate version of his brother, whose, by the way, name is Captain Triumph, and basically you see his entire past, basically going through his mind, and all of a sudden he gave that powerful scream like stop, and then basically he goes towards his brother, and he's like, alternate version of his brother, and basically he started to screaming like, the fuck is wrong with us, it's all my fault, whatever I touch, I destroy, I'm the harbinger of death, and so on and so forth. Like, that was like one hell of a performance. So I do agree with James Gunn that like in episode 7, like he really shines. Absolutely. So yeah, and again, this is my favorite scene when it comes to his performance, but throughout the entire season 2, like he gave remarkable moments with an amazing performance. Absolutely. So that's kind of like the first thing I just want to say, which is a big plus when it comes to Peacemaker season 2. John Cena really shines, and also he kind of proves that Peacemaker is a role that he was born to play. Okay, he really proves that. Now, besides that, now we go into much more deeper parts of my reviews. So the first thing that I would like to call is character study, because that's basically how I felt throughout Peacemaker season 2. Okay, sure, we had the plot and everything, but it felt like more like a character study type of season. Okay, like throughout the entire season 2, we had many different character arcs, and I'm not just simply talking about Peacemaker, which I'm talking like Emilia Harcourt's arc, Adebayo's arc, John Economou's arc, Vigilante's arc, Rick Flag Sr., even characters like Judo Master, or even, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not imagining anything, but even Eagly had his own little character arc. I mean, which by the way was one of my favorite parts of season two. Absolutely, you know, and and again, alongside alongside, I will even go as far as say, like, even like for alternate versions of Peacemaker's family, like, White Dragon, or should I say Blue Dragon, Captain Triumph, even like Michael Rooker's character, Red St. Wild, like the entire show, even like the new characters like Sasha Bordeaux and the agent that his name is escaping me right now, but oh my god, like at some points he was funny, but at some points he was really annoying. But anyway, but which kind of proves that his performance was effective, at least for me, But but my point is that even with new characters, like the entire season felt like a character study, like from the beginning to the very end. And I'm saying this like in a good way, okay? Because that is something that I will go as far with all the TV shows I've seen. We get that very rarely, okay? Like, like basically, sure, we have a plot, we have like, an overall story and everything, but the entire concentration in this season felt like it, like basically falling upon like all the characters, which is why I would call Peacemaker season two as an overall character study, but in a good way. Like I said, because this is something I actually very rarely see in TV shows. Okay, and that's and for me personally, that is a good thing. Because like each and every character, not simply we have their journeys and great moments and everything, but they also we see them going through like even their own like, how can I put this, with their own challenges, with their own problems, like traumas and everything, especially when it comes to like Amelia Harcourt and Leota Adebayo, like especially them two, like like alongside Peacemaker, those are the other two that really went through a lot and everything, But also, one of the other things I just want to mention: every single character here shines. Oh, that's another thing, that none of them for me were left out, and which is really surprised, because one of the characters in this season two really surprised me was actually Judah Master. I mean, in season one, I kind of found him annoying, but in this one, actually, I started to like him very, very much. One of my favorite moments in with Judah Master was definitely that moment with Adebayo and him. Like that was actually a really great scene. But again, it also shows character development, which falls into the character study thing. Yeah. So overall, yeah, all the characters for me were great, and even though some people might kind of ask, like, who is the main villain in season two? Well, in some capacity, that falls on Rick Flag Sr. I would say Rick Flag Sr. is kind of like, quote unquote, main villain of season two because of his vendetta against Peacemaker, alongside his overall goal, which is one of the reasons why he wants that quantum room that Peacemaker holds and everything. So yeah, all the characters had their moment to shine. But if I have to choose, when it comes to character-wise, if I had to choose, besides Peacemaker, I would choose my other two characters that really made an impact on me from season two. Have to be Emilia Harcourt and Eagly. Those two, besides Peacemaker, they really, really shine in season two. Absolutely. Now, I did mention like the new characters thing. Like, yeah, sure, because in season two we do have new characters. Like Rick Flag Senior, not Judah Master, sorry, Rick Flag Senior, the agent. I'm forgetting his name. Shit. Sasha Bordeaux, Blue Dragon, Captain Triumph, and Red St. Wild. And again, just like with the old characters, they have their moments. Okay, and I personally, I will welcome them into as like new additions to the Peacemaker family or DC Universe family. I felt like every single one of them was developed like from good to like good enough to kind of like keep us going, basically, to kind of in a way make us care a little bit about them and everything, or at least make them interesting. So yeah. And when it comes to new characters, every single one of them was developed, at least for me, in a really good way. They had their moments, some of them more, some of them less, but even those characters who had less moments still had moments to shine, overall. So yeah, and also it's kind of crazy. I mean, like, especially with Michael Rooker's character, Red St. Wild. Like, I mean, James Gunn, like, he really loves Michael Rooker. Oh man, I mean, like, he used him in the Suicide Squad. Like he played Savant. like he, you know, like I mean, from Yondu, from Guardians of the Galaxy, from like the Suicide Squad's playing Savant, also being in Superman, and now he's like in Peacemaker season 2. And not to mention, James Gunn also confirmed that that's not the last time we're gonna see Michael Rooker. I mean, like the guy really loves him, you know. And I will say his character was interesting. Absolutely. Yeah, and also Patrick Wilson, like as the Blue Dragon, like it was really great to see him again, you know. And also, he really surprised me the kind of version he was playing this time. Like, you know, like I mean, since we're talking like alternate dimensions, of course, you know, he's gonna play the like a opposite version of the original character, which was the White Dragon and everything. You know, so it was really great. I mean, when it comes to the new characters, like I said, when each of them had their own moments. I mean, when it comes to like Captain Triumph moment, I would say my favorite moments are definitely with him are like when he was like talking with Peacemaker. You know, like overall like the brotherly love and talk they had. You know, he like, you know, in the midst like of all the episodes and everything. Like I felt like those were like my favorite moments with him. With Blue Dragon, I would say my favorite moment was definitely in episode 7 before Vigilante kills him, where basically he was giving this speech about like, you know, his overall point of view on the world and his actions and his sense of justice and everything. Like, you know, that for me personally, it was a really great, not simply monologue, but, you know, Blue Dragon moment and everything. So yeah, when it comes to character wise, every single one of them like felt like fairly used, you know. So no complaints about that. Now we go to the ACET, or basically action comedy emotions and twists. Now, when it comes to action, like just like Peacemaker season 1, Peacemaker season 2 is also filled with action. But one thing I have to tell as a difference is that Peacemaker season 2 has actually way more dialogue than action this time. You know, so for some people, I can see that being kind of like a minus overall. But for me personally, it was okay. You know, because like I said, Peacemaker season 1 was filled with action-packed like sequences. In this one, it felt more like the action sequences were like how can I put this? Like strategically made. Let's put that like basically like James Gunn was like planning like, you know, okay, this specific moment is going to be action sequences. That moment is going to have some action. Like, you know, it's like literally he was like trying to put them in the show like, you know, in a very strategic way, not just to like throw them all over the place and everything. You know, that's kind of what it felt for me. Now, comedy, James Gunn didn't miss a beat. Okay, like comedy is everywhere. Like, and for the most part, for me, it worked. Like some of them, you know, made me giggle, but for the most part, they actually did make me laugh. Some of them actually even made me gasp. So when it comes to comedy, nothing for me was left off or like, you know, basically like, you know, no reactions or anything. Like, you know, like for me, when it comes to comedy, it worked like always. Alongside comedy, of course, we're gonna have emotions as well, and emotions also hit hard. They also hit hard, especially between Peacemaker and Harcourt. Like, you know, not simply on their own, but also when you have those like moments together and everything. Like, it really like emotions. Also, just like comedy, they have their shine throughout the entire Peacemaker season 2. Absolutely, from the beginning to the very end. You know, so that also for me is a big plus. And the twists. Well, the twists in this one, there are not too many. But I will say that the twists that we got were actually well delivered. Okay, first and foremost, like one of the things that we, as a twist, basically, we got in Peacemaker season 2, I would say it's more like an explanation, really. But I like the way how they explain how the White Dragon basically got the quantum realm room, basically. You know, it was like a brief scene at the beginning, but they still like, you know, the overall explanation that we got, like, you know, that we had basically, you know, how he got and everything, you know. But one thing for certain, he didn't build it. Okay, that's certain. And the other twist, oh man, the other twist that we got, like especially the revelation of Earth 2, which was basically in the end, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, it's Earth X. Okay, the Earth where basically Nazis won World War II. I mean, like it was absolutely crazy. I mean, there were some elements throughout the episodes before episode six. There were some elements that was kind of like, it felt a little bit suspicious for me, like certain like moods and the overall world and some like point some of the views I had and everything. Like it felt strange a little bit, and of course sure, for Peacemaker, this world was like heaven on earth. But of course, there must be a flaw. Okay, there must. I always told myself, where's the catch? Okay, where is the flaw? And oh boy, in episode six, oh boy, what a catch! From like the Nazi symbol on the American flag to like Adebayo being chased by the entire neighborhood, like the fucking picture of Hitler on the wall in Argus, or even like the book of Mein Kampf, like in the offices and everything. Like, wow, wow, what fucking twist that James Gunn brought on this show. Oh my god. Like they're absolutely brilliant and also really well made, and the overall build up to them was also pretty well done. So just like with action, comedy, emotions, even the twists stick to the landing for me. Like at least for me, and also just without before going further, when it comes to action, oh, there's gore in it. Oh, when it comes to gore, the violence, like James Gunn doesn't miss a beat at all. So be prepared. There's a lot of like violence, like bloody violence, let's put it that way, in Peacemaker season 2. Yeah, which also kind of brings me to this. Okay, like Peacemaker season 2, I think I would say it's we finally got to a project where kind of like the overall connections to the DCU officially started. Because in this season, not only we have connections to Superman, but we also have some connections with Creature Commandos as well. So I was kind of happy to finally actually kind of got to the feeling of like the overall connectivity in with the new DCU, alongside also some connections that could lead to a bigger DCU as well, especially when it comes to episode 8. So I really praise James Gunn, because like with season 2, you really have a feeling that James Gunn is building a universe. You have this feeling that James Gunn is trying to connect everything. Some of it more, some of it less. Just like he said. But overall, I'm really happy that he also addressed that in Peacemaker season 2. Absolutely, and I cannot wait to see more of that into the future. And now I go to this, which brings me to the cameos. Okay, we had some really crazy cameos in Peacemaker season 2, apart from episode 8, but that's a totally different topic. We, from Maxwell Lord to Guy Gardner to Hawkgirl to Lex Luthor. Now, you're talking about like a very big major cameo. I'm gonna say that falls on Lex Luthor, because like his cameo in Bellary talking with Rick Flag Senior, I was like blown away. Okay, I mean, like everyone, I mean, of course, Lex Luthor was one of those candidates that we could actually see appear in Peacemaker season 2 and everything. And also being revealed that they filmed this scene on the same time while James Gunn was doing Superman, kind of makes actually more sense now. So yeah, seeing Lex Luthor in this, like it was really mind blowing, but it was also at the same time, I was like hyped up as fuck, which all and also speaking of connections to bigger DCU, like that scene alone proves, that James Gunn, like he's preparing a much more larger story into a like bigger DCU, just like when it comes to like connectivity and everything, and also one other cameo I do have to mention a little bit, and that is White Rabbit from episode 1. I mean, again, it lasts only a few seconds, but it was kind of really funny to see her appear in of all the shows, like Peacemaker being actually the perfect one. But it was kind of like wild to see White Rabbit appear as well. Although I'm gonna give James Gunn a little bit of a correction. White Rabbit in DC Comics is not a superhero. She's actually a supervillain, and she's also part from Batman's Rogues Gallery as well. So I just want to add that, okay? And also she has multiple personalities as well. But besides Lex Luthor and White Rabbit, I also want to say it was really great to see Maxwell Lord, Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, and Hawk Girl. I felt like they also were like pretty nice cameos, although we knew that from the beginning ever since we saw the trailers and everything. But I also thought their cameos were also pretty good. And when it comes to cameo wise, I was actually completely satisfied. Absolutely. Yeah. So again, a really big plus when it comes to Peacemaker season 2 as well. And now we go to the part where basically I could say it's kind of highly debatable, and that's basically episode 8. Okay, so here's my overall quick thoughts. Now I know a lot of people were disappointed, to put it gently. They were disappointed that episode 8 basically for a lot of people felt like like an empty episode, let's put it that way, because of the overall build up that James Gunn gave us about this big cameo and the overall story wise and everything. We thought like something big is going to happen in episode 8. But then when you see the entire episode, especially being, if I'm not mistaken, like around 57 minutes long, you thought like we're going to see a lot of things happening. But in the end, it was a very slow-paced episode with basically nothing, with basically a few things that happened, which concentrate more on Argus like exploring like the quantum realm of Peacemaker, basically. And kind of also revealing at the same time the overall plan that Rick Flag had by using that quantum room and everything. So in some capacity, you can say there were some things happening. But overall, it was a very smooth, I would say a bit like slow pace, calm, episode outside the Argus part. Okay. Like for example, we explore the relationship between Hardcore and Peacemaker, the overall entire 11th Street Kids. Also we saw some struggles with other characters like Vigilante, Adebayo, John Economos, also Sasha Bordeaux as well. There were some moments. There were some actually positive moments in episode 8 that felt like we're like all right and everything. But overall, episode 8 was, I would say, the weakest episode of season 2. I have to admit, okay, as an overall finale, I was a little bit shocked the way how it went. But also at the same time, I was okay with it. I wasn't like, oh yeah, hell yeah, like ooh, it's so awesome. No, I was like, it was fine. It was okay. I mean, I would say the best part of episode 8 for me was, I think, like the ending of basically where Peacemaker season 2 could lead, basically. The overall idea, with salvation and which kind of hints to a very famous comic book miniseries, Salvation Run, and everything, and what basically holds the future for that and everything. So I would say that was kind of like my favorite part of episode 8. And also, I will say, it was really cool to see, the band who plays the song from the intro and everything. Like, it was kind of cool to see their cameo as well. And I will admit, yes, the episode 8 has some it has two kind of musical moments and everything. But I felt like, they were fine. As when it comes to additions to the episode and overall Peacemaker season 2, I mean, I would say they were fine. They were absolutely fine. And also, one of the things I also have to say that kind of made me satisfied was also that we got the answer to what happened on the boat between Hardcore and Peacemaker. That's also a big plus for me. So yeah, I mean, again, I know there's gonna be a lot of people disappointed, but when it comes to especially when it comes to cameos, because a lot of people were expecting characters like Bloodsport or Blue Beetle or Superman, like someone like that, appearing. But overall, I mean, I don't know if James Gunn did that on purpose, or he was talking about salvation or checkmate being formed. I don't know. But even still, with what we got, I was overall satisfied. So overall, that's kind of my overall quick episode 8 thoughts and everything. So overall, I don't think episode 8 deserves that much hate. But on the same time, I understand why people were disappointed, and let down, in a way. Although some people are being way too dramatic, if you ask me. But overall, I get it. Yeah, and with that being said, I'm gonna go my overall final thoughts of the show. So basically, Peacemaker season two overall, personally, besides episode eight, I would say it's another triumph for James Gunn. I get, although if I have to, basically, if I have to like rank like Peacemaker season one and two, I would say Peacemaker season one was a little bit more better than season two. But with everything that we got from like I said, from the character study, from the action moments, the funny moments, the twists and turns, and the addition of new characters and everything, story wise and all, like I would say season two is another James Gunn triumph. And I will say this: I really, really loved the intro. Okay, again, with comparing season one and season two, I would say the intro of season one was actually a little bit more better, but I still love what they did with the intro for season two as well. So that's also it's a plus for me. Episode eight was like so and everything, but when it comes to acting wise, characters, story wise, emotions and twists and comedy, and all of that, I would say it's a big win for James Gunn as well, regardless of like what you think of episode eight. And also I will say this: when it comes to like comedic parts, one of my favorite moments is definitely when Vigilante meets the alternate version of himself. Like that, it kind of remind me of the. Which, by the way, also James Gunn actually put that in Peacemaker as well. But I love the overall like Spider-Man meme they did and everything. Which again, James Gunn put in his own DC universe. So you can kind of say that the Marvel universe actually exists in the DC universe as well. So I just wanted to say that. But overall, yeah, I would say I was satisfied with with Peacemaker in general when it comes to season two. Again, episode eight is the weakest of them all, but overall, I was satisfied. Because again, the characters were interesting. I love the character study part of it, and it also had an interesting story. One of my other nitpicky things I will also add is that Peacemaker and Vigilante were like less in costume in this season, unlike like season one. So I would have preferred if they were more in their costumes and everything. But since the kind of story that we had and everything, I kind of get the reason why. But again, it's just my like personal nitpicky thing and all, which kind of brings me to basically, as I like to call it, my overall final rating. I'm giving Peacemaker season two an 8 out of 10. Now, Peacemaker season one, I rated 8.5 out of 10. So when it comes to Peacemaker season two, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Basically, again, still good rating in my book. I still enjoyed Peacemaker season two for what it was. So yeah, I would say 8 out of 10 is a fair rating when it comes to Peacemaker season two. Which again, in general, I would say it's another triumph for for James Gunn and the new DC universe. hmm And with that being said, we have come to an end to another Peacemaker, or should I say, to another Shadow review. One of the things I also have to mention, one of my favorite moments in Peacemaker season two, besides the other ones I mentioned, it was also connected with Eagly. Like I said, Eagly had also one of his arcs, little character studies in Peacemaker season two, and I love his moments. I love, especially when he was defending Peacemaker's house. Like that was crazy, and that badass Hawk, Hawk. I mean Eagle, walk back into the house and everything with the soundtrack in the background. Like that was absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. I was again, like I said, I was surprised that Eagly got a lot of moments in season two, which surprised me in a very, very positive way. Which kind of brings me to this, basically, to one last thing, which is what's next. What's next after Peacemaker season two? Because I did mention that when it comes to connectivity, that this could actually lead to a bigger, DCU and everything. So I'm kind of curious where they're gonna go, what they're gonna do with DCU after Peacemaker season two. Now, James Gunn did say that Peacemaker season three might not actually happen, or at least not now. But we do also know that Peacemaker is going to be used, in other projects and movies, as well. Like also, not to mention, there's a rumor going around that he might be also in Man of Tomorrow upcoming movie and everything. So We're just gonna have to wait and see. But from like everything being connected with salvation, I kind of have an idea where this is going, which also kind of connects to my overall Man of Tomorrow discussion of like who's going to be the main villain. By the way, if you're interested in that video, I'm going to put it in the comments in the video description down below, so you can actually watch it and everything. Yeah, so I'm really curious. After Peacemaker season 2, I'm really curious where this is going to go. Absolutely, and not to mention that from 2026 we're going to have projects outside James Gunn, more precisely projects that were not done by James Gunn, only produced. I think this is going to be like the big showdown, basically of the DC universe, with Supergirl, Clayface, and Lanterns. I'm really kind of curious where the new DC universe is going to go. So with that being said, overall, that's my overall Peacemaker season 2 review. Rate the video, comment, like, subscribe. Give me your personal overall thoughts and ideas. What did you thought about Peacemaker season 2? Have you had any personal thoughts about episode 8 in general? Eric, what do you think Peacemaker is going to go next? What do you think the bigger story for DCU is going to be? Everything about the DCU or Peacemaker season 2 in general, just put in the comment section down below. Stay tuned for more. See you guys next time. Have a great weekend. And as always, Lord of Shadows signing off, or as I like to say, later, fuckers.